When we left Lieutenant Henry, he was in an American hospital in Milan, Italy, and he was all alone, waiting for the doctor, waiting for Catherine to arrive, and drinking. My name is Trisha Slapizio. I'm your host for Tea and Bedtime Stories. In this episode, we'll continue reading Ernest Hemingway's novel, A Farewell to Arms. Last time we read Chapter 13 in Book 2, and now I'll continue story with Chapter 14. After the reading, I'll follow up with a few quick facts and my impressions. So let's begin Chapter 14 of Book 2. It was bright sunlight in the room when I woke. I thought I was back at the front and stretched out in my bed. My legs hurt me and I looked down at them, still in the dirty bandages, and seeing them knew where I was. I reached up for the bell cord and pushed the button. I heard it buzz down the hall and then someone coming on rubber soles all along the hall. It was Miss Gage. She looked a little older in the bright sunlight and not so pretty. "Good morning," she said. "Did you have a good night?" "Yes, thanks very much," I said. "Can I have a barber?" "I came in to see you and you were asleep with this in the bed with you." She opened the armoire door and held up the vermouth bottle. It was nearly empty. "I put the other bottle from under the bed in there too," she said. "Why didn't you ask me for a glass?" "I thought maybe you wouldn't let me have it. I'd have had some with you." "You're a fine girl." "It isn't good for you to drink alone," she said. "You mustn't do it." "All right. Your friend Miss Barclay's come," she said. "Really?" "Yes, I don't like her." "You will like her. She's awfully nice." She shook her head. "I'm sure she's fine. Can you move just a little to the side?" "That's fine. I'll clean you up for breakfast." She washed me with a cloth and soap and warm water. "Hold your shoulder up," she said. "That's fine. Can I have the barber before breakfast?" "I'll send the porter for him." She went out and came back. "He's gone for him," she said, and dipped the cloth held in the basin of water. The barber came with the porter. He was a man of about 50 with an upturned mustache. Miss Gage was finished with me and went out, and the barber lathered my face and shaved. He was very solemn and refrained from talking. "What's the matter? Don't you know any news?" I asked. "What news?" "Any news. What's happened in the town?" "It is time of war," he said. "The enemy's ears are everywhere." I looked up at him. "Please hold your face still," he said, and went on shaving. "I will tell nothing." "What's the matter with you?" I asked. "I'm an Italian. I will not communicate with the enemy." I let it go at that. If he was crazy, the sooner I could get out from under the razor, the better. Once I tried to get a good look at him. "Beware," he said. "The razor is sharp." I paid him when it was over and tipped him half a lira. He returned the coins. "I will not. I am not at the front, but I am an Italian. Get the hell out of here." "With your permission," he said, and wrapped his razor in the newspaper. He went out, leaving the 5 copper coins on the table beside the bed. I rang the bell. Miss Gage came in. "Would you ask the porter to come in, please?" "All right." The porter came in. He was trying to keep from laughing. "Is that barber crazy?" "No, signorino. He made a mistake. He doesn't understand very well. He thought I said you were an Austrian officer." "Oh," I said. "Ho, ho, ho." The porter laughed. He was funny. "One move from you," he said, "and he would have." He drew his finger across his throat. "Ho, ho, ho." He tried to keep from laughing. "When I tell him you were not Austrian, ho, ho, ho." "Ho, ho, ho," I said bitterly. "How funny if he would cut my throat. Ho, ho, ho." "No, signorino, no, no. He was so frightened of an Austrian. Ho, ho, ho." Ho, 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 I said. Get out of here. He went out, and I heard him laughing in the hall. I heard someone coming down the hallway. I looked toward the door. It was Catherine Barkley. She came in the room and over to the bed. "Hello, darling," she said. She looked fresh and young and very beautiful. I thought I had never seen anyone so beautiful. "Hello," I said. When I saw her, I was in love with her. Everything turned over inside of me. She looked towards the door, saw there was no one. Then she sat on the side of the bed and leaned over and kissed me. I pulled her down and kissed her and felt her heart beating. "You sweet," I said. "Weren't you wonderful to come here?" "It wasn't very hard. It may be hard to stay." "You've got to stay." "Oh, you're wonderful." I was crazy about her. I could not believe she was really there and held her tight to me. "You mustn't," she said. "You're not well enough." "Yes, I am. Come on." "No, you're not strong enough." "Yes, I am. Yes, please." "You do love me?" "I really love you. I'm crazy about you. Come on, please." Feel our hearts beating. I don't care about our hearts. I want you. I'm just mad about you. You really love me? Don't keep on saying that. Come on. Please. Please, Catherine. "All right, but only for a minute." "All right," I said. "Shut the door." "You can't. You shouldn't. Come on. Don't talk. Please. Come on." Catherine sat in the chair by the bed. The door was open into the hall. The wildness was gone, and I felt finer than I had ever felt. She asked, "Now do you believe I love you?" "Oh, you're lovely," I said. "You've got to stay. They can't send you away. I'm crazy in love with you." "We'll have to be awfully careful. That was just madness. We can't do that." "We can at night." "We'll have to be awfully careful. We'll have to be careful in front of other people." "I will." "You'll have to be. You're sweet. You do love me, don't you?" "Don't say that again. You don't know what it does to me." "I'll be careful then. I don't want to do anything more to you. I have to go now, darling, really." "Come back right away." "I'll come when I can. Goodbye." "Goodbye, sweet." She went out. God knows I had not wanted to fall in love with her. I had not wanted to fall in love with anyone. But God knows I had, and I lay on the bed in the room of the hospital in Milan, and all sorts of things went through my head, and I felt wonderful, and finally, Miss Cage came in. "The doctor's coming," she said. "He telephoned from Lake Como." "When does he get here?" "He'll be here this afternoon." It's the end of chapter 14 of book 2. Okay, a few quick facts. A lira was Italian currency until 2002, and then they switched over to the euro. But I finally found some conversions. So in 1918, a little bit more than 5 lire was $1 equal to $1 American. And $1 American in 1918 would be worth a little over $21 now. When he calls him Signorino, it's basically he's insulting him because he's calling him a little boy, like little master is how that kind of translates. When you say put ino or ina on the end of something, you're basically calling them a child, because Nino or Nina is like the word for child. Like in Spanish or in New Mexican Spanish, we say ita instead of ina or ino. It's ito or ita. So if you have like a son named Miguel or Juan, you'd say Juanito or Miguelito. It's for like little Michael or little John, if that makes sense. So when he was calling him Signorino, he was insulting him. The porter was, anyway. So my impressions, I don't know, I kind of had a visceral response to the porter's actions towards Lieutenant Henry. like the little trick or whatever that he plays on him, and was just so not cool. It was just so wrong on so many levels, threatening him with bodily harm by proxy by making the whatever his name was, the barber, think he was an Austrian soldier. That whole thing was just stupid. And I don't know. The porter, it's interesting because in the story, right, last chapter, he said that the porter had a gray mustache. So he's obviously referring to his age, that he's an older gentleman, yet he's still just a porter. So it seems like he clearly resents the lieutenant, young, right? Even though he's trying to reward him handsomely, he still doesn't have any respect for him. Even though he's fighting for the Italian army for his country as a foreigner, he still doesn't have any respect for him. And I'm sure he doesn't want to fetch his newspapers and wine. He's probably thinking this punk rich kid or whatever, just playing soldier. And he doesn't want to take on that role, but I don't know. I just think too, it was messed up for him to do that, and I can't stand people like that. I mean, we've all interacted with individuals who hate their position in life and just try to take it out on others. And for him to take advantage of young Henry when he was in his most vulnerable state, just to whatever, try to prove a point or make him the butt of his joke, I just thought that was garbage. I think he should be grateful that the kid was willing to sacrifice himself in that way. But anyway, he chose to act jealous and petty, like a petulant child, and then laugh about it. He's lucky that didn't happen, that wasn't real, and that didn't happen in front of me. Oh. So yeah, that was really annoying. But anyway, I love the way the author just inserts that whole subtext into the story and kind of leads us through that narrative with only a few words of description. So anyway, but I don't know if you caught that, but I think they were describing prelude and epilogue of a sexual encounter. I mean, they obviously omitted any graphic details. Those would obviously be censored in 1929. I read an article, I think I attached it into the description, about censorship of that time, and Hemingway was always trying to speak in the voice of, like, the everyday man, talk the way that people talk to each other, so that it was more authentic. But the people who ran the publishing companies, had to be responsible. When you speak on a public platform, I think it's irresponsible to just say whatever you want to say. I know people do it. I've watched Howard Stern for my whole life. I don't really follow him, but I understand there's a place for that to a certain degree, but it's difficult because I think morally, ethically, people who speak on public platforms should offer something to the public in exchange for their time and attention. Maybe that's just me. I kind of wish there was more censorship sometimes today, because American women in particular, for whatever reason, talk really openly about everything, especially if they're married with children. That's like, it gives them carte blanche, and every topic is acceptable for any conversation. There's no holds barred, and it doesn't even require like a close friendship for people to tell really personal, intimate details about their lives. For example, I was just started this conversation with a woman one time. She goes, my husband's sitting on the toilet, clipping his toenails. And I'm just thinking, whoa, if this is how your story is starting, I don't think I can hear the rest. She keeps going, obviously. She doesn't even think this might be making me a little uncomfortable, because I don't want to picture that in my mind. It turns out she was really just mad at him because he wouldn't pick up the clippings. I'm so gross, sorry. This is really graphic. But see, this is why we avoid graphic details, or should. But she was mad, and it would have been a harmless anecdote. But every time I ran into her husband, I would picture him sitting on the pot picking at his toenails. Because I was so traumatized by that immediate image in my mind. And I don't want to see that. I'm sorry. I just don't want to picture anyone like that. I wouldn't want to see my own husband like that. Or my kids, really. And I love them. But ew. Anyway, the absence of the description does make one speculate about the logistics of that whole encounter. I'm guessing it all happened fairly quickly, which is not ideal. Nothing about those circumstances seems ideal. I think it's really weird that she's so obsessed with him saying that he loves her. I think it's also weird that he thinks he really does love her. I think he's probably just really lonely, and maybe that's a reaction to being injured. And, you know, he did describe that he had died and came back to life. And people, I know from personal experience, we are different when we are living on borrowed time. I had a pretty serious accident on a motorcycle, and after that I felt like it reset my life in some weird cosmic way. I don't know. But maybe that's what he's going through. Again, it's interesting to think about all the nuances of their story. But I meant to say, the other nurse, I thought it was kind of funny when she comes in and tells him that she found the liquor bottles. Her first reaction was to be like, hey, why didn't you share it with me? Which, I would be honest, if I was a nurse in that place in that time doing that, I'd probably say the exact same thing. Like, don't be a Bogart. Don't hoard it, in other words. But anyway, that's all I have for chapter 14, book 2. We'll continue the reading next time, chapter 15 of A Farewell to Arms by Ernest Hemingway. Please join me again for more tea and bedtime stories. I look forward to talking to you soon. Thanks for listening.